Hey, welcome back to the shop. Appreciate you taking your time to join me once again. It's been a full year since I opened this box for the OBM surface grinder attachment, and today I'm going to give you my full unfiltered review. So I've had this thing, like I said, for about a full year. I've used it well over 100 times. It's really good for flattening surfaces, getting mill scale off, getting a more uniform, even, consistent finish on your blades before hand sanding. So I'm gonna give you some tips and tricks. One of the things that I did in my first video was I moved the rollers at less of an angle than they are to make it a little bit easier to work the chuck up and down, because the chuck is quite heavy, and doing this action a few hundred times puts a little workout on your shoulders. So since then I've actually made an improvement to my tilting table, which I'll show you. I wish I could post a video on how I built it, but I lost all of the footage for that, and my heart was broken. But it turned out really spectacular, for the version of the grinder that doesn't tilt. So let me show you that real quick first. So I have a little safety tab right here that just keeps it from going over if I don't want it to. But as you can see, just under the weight of the struts that I have, it's holding itself up, and it's not gonna go anywhere. So my last design was quite difficult to go up and down with. I had it on basically telescoping square tubes, and it was just really forward or really back heavy, which made it really forward heavy to lift and put down. And now I have it more centered with the center of gravity, and it's literally, there's no bending over, there's no pulling pins out like before or anything like that. It's a huge improvement, and I'm really happy with it. So what I did now was put this back into the original angle that it was shipped to me in, because now it's going to hit part of the reinforcing bracket for this. So if I was to leave it where it's at. So now all I got to do is turn it, excuse the broom, and that's all there is to it. Now it's totally perfectly horizontal, and now the chuck's going to fit in there just fine. So again, I'm going to show you. Let me grab my chuck that I got hanging up here. This thing's a little bit awkward because it really doesn't fit anywhere, like on my or in my my tree for the attachments. So this is how I have it. One thing I've learned over some time is blue tape doesn't work to keep the dust off the magnets, because the blue tape will tear really fast. But gaff tape works really well. 2 layers, because the one strip isn't quite wide enough. So gaff tape really helps with that. But if you don't use anything, then forced air from an air compressor and a blowing tool will will get all of the dust off. I'm gonna pull it up just a little bit so you can see. I have not had the chuck resurfaced yet, but excuse me, as you can see, magnets are still in place. Everything's really good, really solid. Very minimal dust, if any at all. This also helps the steel stick a little less aggressively, because before I would have to pry this up with like a flathead screwdriver. It was really good at holding the metal onto the chuck. So I'm going to reposition the camera, and I'm going to show you how I mount everything. All right, so real simple. Just going to go in just like this, like so, and now I've got complete and ultimate clearance, not in danger of hitting, and now moving this thing in and out couldn't be any easier. The only thing that's a little awkward is the gauge is not super visible, but it's easy. This is bringing it out, you know, basically it's opposite of what you would think. If you're tightening it, it's bringing this further away. If you're doing a loosening direction, you're bringing it closer, which if you look at the mechanism, it makes sense because it's pushing the chuck closer. So yeah, again, I haven't done any kind of maintenance on this thing. I'll get a close-up of what the bearings look like, how they sound. There's no grinding, there's no stickiness to the bearings at all. And again, I've used this thing probably 130, 140 times. So yeah, it works really fantastic. I'm really happy I got it. Works like a champ. All right, guys, so I'm getting a close-up of the bearings so you can see, you can hear no grinding, no nothing. They spin very free, so that's good. Next, I'm going to show you the contact wheel. Here's a contact wheel. Again, bearings, no noise at all. Zero slop in the wheel at all. Changing the position couldn't be easier. Remove the cotter pin, remove the shims. It's a really tight fit. Keep that on there. Loosen this, unscrew that, and you got 4 different bolt positions. These last 2, depending on the size of your, the size and the position of your drive wheel and motor, may not work, but the first 2 likely will. So you can hear how nice of a fit that is. Put the shims back on. Put the cotter pin right back in. A little difficult to do one-handed, and that's that. And now, like I said before, as far as putting the grinder back up to upright is as simple as one hand. Boom, that's all it needs. I'll give you a quick little preview in case you guys have this older model. It'll kind of give you an idea of what you got to do. So basically I did a mortise and tenon joint here, the pivot there. I have some inside here for the bolt, for the carriage bolt. Inside this part of the brace here, I have I don't even remember what it's called. Basically, it's like aluminum tube of the same outside diameter for the inside diameter, so it moves real smooth. Just bolted it to my existing bench, and down here's where I have one on each side, the struts, and you see those blocks right here, right there, and right there. Those are stops to make it stop perfectly horizontal. And that's really all. I mean, it's a simple design, simple mechanics, but it works really, really well. And I did not have to wind up buying a brand new tilting OBM surface grinder. Well, that's it for today, guys. I hope you guys like the review. Again, I think it's a really, really solid investment. One tip, when especially if you're doing like Damascus billet or really any kind of precision cut kind of thing where you don't want to lose material, you're going to need to accommodate for an extra probably 1/4 inch of material, because you got to remember on the contact wheel's rubber. So as you're surface grinding, the ends of those pieces of steel are going to be rounded off just a little bit. So if you're doing Damascus, if you're setting up your billets for that, you definitely either want to cut that or make sure you get a really good solid weld the whole way across. Otherwise, oxygen's going to get in there. and it's noticeably not going to be flat on those two ends. So if you just give yourself another 1/4 inch to a 1/2 inch of extra material, you got sacrificial pieces on both ends. You can just cut those off and make everything super flat. Other than the gauge, I don't really use a whole lot. I mean, it's good for, remembering, zeroing it out. So if you're gonna start from same thickness of material to go back to it, when you're changing out stock and things like that. So other than that, I really don't use it that much. It's generally by feel. So I didn't give you a demonstration today because I literally don't have any Damascus to make. I don't have any billets to clean up. Tomorrow, something special's coming in. I will be doing an unboxing of it, or an uncrating of it rather. And then we will start making some pretty cool things here coming up soon. So hopefully you guys will join me again for those. Please subscribe, like. Please leave me a comment, even if it's a comment of criticism or something you think I can improve on. I'd love to hear about it. Again, I don't have any high-end equipment recording me on my iPhone with the iPhone audio. I don't have money to invest into making big production videos with excellent lighting and excellent sound. So doing the best I can with what I have right now, but I hope that's good enough for you guys. I hope you get more out of it than just the production value, but more of the knowledge and the tips and tricks that I can offer you, and my failures as they go along. So I still have one more product to review by OBM coming up. By the way, none of these are sponsored. Sorry for the background noise. My AC just kicked on from my house. These are not sponsored, so I did pay full price, and I was not even asked to do a review for either one of these pieces of equipment. So totally on my own, just to bring it to you guys. I know a lot of people have this grinder, and it's a really good grinder, and it's very affordable. So until next time, guys, I'll see you again. Happy forging and stay safe.